We're famous for our grasses, and grasses are tricky, so I've got two. Let me just show you the two. I thought I had a reed. This is a reed, is that right? This is a rush, European meadow rush. This is very Firewise. If you feel it, it's got real thick, chunky, it holds a lot of moisture within the foliage. So almost like a reed. So I think sedges are the same way. I think they're real stocky. They hold a lot of moisture. So those grasses that hold moisture, Firewise. Those that kind of dry out, or if you left this dry through the winter, let it stressed out, had a bunch of dead material in it, that's fuel. Now it can be dangerous. So I think grasses are fine as long as you keep them hydrated and healthy and you're cutting them back and you're maintaining them. You got this new fancy, very healthy growth, I think it's okay. Second they go dry, they're dangerous. So use them with caution.
What about pampas grass?
Pampas grass. Pampas grass. Here's what I find with pampas grass. Most folks don't know how to take care of them. So that's that great big grass. It grows like children. Dogs have been lost in pampas grass. That, a really big one. That one I find, I cut mine back every year, every winter. I'll let the snows kind of take them down. Then I go in January or February, I'll cut them back to about this high. So all the new growth coming out of it are new, it's luscious. Most folks leave them, and so you get this dead material with the live material. It looks funny, brings your value down. It's not a good design. It just looks like death with life together. Yeah, I want it to be young and vibrant. That and pampas grass tends to die out in the middle, and so it's only good for maybe 5 to 10 years. Then it gets this hole, it just starts to morph, it turns into a horseshoe, and it's ugly. So use it strategically. I personally would never own a pampas grass, just too much maintenance. I've got them out here in the landscape out front because they're so tough, and they are rock stars. I mean, when they're in bloom, late summer through winter, I sell a ton of pampas grass. So there's a mannequin. So I can send my kids through grad school. That's the only reason. But I wouldn't have one in my own yard. It's too much maintenance for myself. They are pretty, they're just more maintenance I want. I like coral forester grass. That's my favorite. It's a tall grass, gets up to about here. Blooms from April through almost all year. It's an amazing little grass, but it's much easier to maintain.
That one I take. Mine is potted
containers.
And it's fabulous.
That's good. This is the #1 selling, #1 seller of evergreens right here. This is Alberta spruce. We use them in containers. Where they really use these is at the front door, on either side of the door in a container, as an accent or a frame. Very, very dangerous when it comes to flames. If evacuation comes your way, you've got to leave, make sure you pull these out of the pot and throw them out in the yard, out there someplace, get them away from your house, because they will burn in a flash. Okay? And then again, 3 foot torch. How tall is it going to be? It's at your front door by those big posts. The post is going to go, the eave is going to go, and then your house is lost. No matter what the firefighters do, the house is lost. Just because an ember blew in and touched this, and it went up. So I think it's okay. I think it's okay to have it out there. Just think during evacuation, add it to part of your checklist. Get Alberta spruce away from house. So you pull it out or take the pot and throw it out. Don't let me forget to talk about this. I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of you. I want to put it at the end. This is kind of technical. It's not really pertaining to the. I want to take advantage of this rain and help you with that. These are things that are Firewise. Why don't we start with the apple tree? All your fruit trees are perfectly fine. They are not going to burn. Okay? Or if they burn, they have to be in the middle of fire for hours until all the moisture is sucked out of them, and finally they'll go up. But by then the fire's already raged through your landscape and it's done. I think fruit trees are good, including your ornamentals. Bradford pears, purple leaf plums, they're very high in moisture content, so they're less likely to burn. So things that are leafy have a soft leaf. Things that are deciduous, they lose their leaves. As long as you clean up all that debris that falls in the fall, in the autumn, I think you could use those as Firewise. It'll actually help stop some of the fire.
Do you have Sergeant Crab here? or not?
I have. I don't know if I have them in stock.
No, I just wondered, but it does.
Crab apples, we sell a lot of crab apples. Yeah, you bet. I brought these two things, and let's see if my cord will let me get there. Yeah, we'll get those, both of them. Covered edibles, thank you. First, so these are things I grow on my fence. Anyone know what this is?
Great.
It's a grape. Edible grape, table grapes, wine grapes. Grapes are Firewise. So this is stuff you want to plant on that fence instead of, let's say, silver lace vine. Some of these more, some things can burn faster. This is very high in moisture. That's why it does grapes. So this could actually be a break. Keep the ash away from that cedar fence. Keep the ash off of. Keep that thing from going up in flames. This can actually prevent some fires. Okay, as long as within reason. Don't let it overgrow and take over your yard. It's common sense stuff. But if you're maintaining your landscape, this is a great one. And you get to eat the fruits. My grandson and I, we'll eat grapes together during the harvest till we are gorged and sick. It is so much fun. Raspberries. I use quite a few raspberries. I've got cedar fence. I'm thinking in terms of fire. I like raspberries. I like grapes. This is a gold raspberry, but red, black raspberries, blackberries, all good. They're all Firewise. Okay, the one edible that isn't is this one. Not Firewise. Because it's got a lot of oils in it. So the oils can dry out. So I don't know if an ash could fly in and let it go off, but a flame for sure got in here, it would go up in flames. So be careful. I would not put this next to my foundation. I would put it just maybe next to the driveway. Because the driveway it's hot, it's dry, few things grow there, but this loves it. But then the firefighters have a space that they can defend your driveway, so you have a natural island already starting where they can isolate that flame away from that plant. So you can use it, just don't put it right next to the house. Okay? This one I do have next to my house. So I've got the classic 2-story house. It's vista, you can look out, it's pretty. They had to cut into the hillside. You know, you drive into the driveway to the upper floor, and downstairs is the basement. You go out the basement, and then it's the yard down there. So I've got this step system to the side of the house. That's where my herb garden is. So every step has a different kind of herb. It's very pretty. And I've got welcome, big, huge pot next to it, so people come and go, and they feel like they're welcome to the party. So in the backyard, it gets at night, it gets pretty dark. I've got landscape lighting, but it's kind of it's dark. And my, older family members, they don't see like they used to, and the bifocals aren't working. So I put this next to the pathways, because this glows at night. The moon catches this at all. It almost like a beacon going, come this way. And I use it as a marker how to get away from the party to your car and say goodbye. This is Santolina. It's an herb. It's Firewise. It's evergreen, tough, drought hardy. It's got a lot going for us. And it smells good. Animals don't eat it. Rabbits, javelina, pack rats haven't bothered. I have a pack rat problem. They don't bother it. So this is a good plant to have closer, but the way I'm using it from a design standpoint is I'm trying to help people at night. It's like a night landscaping plant.
And is it edible, did you say?
It's not edible, it's related to an herb, so it's got a smell, but it doesn't have the same oil content that a rosemary does.
And it's called Santolina.
Santolina, yeah. Lavender cotton is the common name.
Oh.
This is Firewise, okay?
And it's very durable.
Very durable, very durable. Annuals, annual flowers. These are plants that live for a year or annually. Perennials and P both start with, what is it, what did I say? Perennials and permanent both start with P. Who said that? Well done, yeah. Oh, Michelle, you don't count. She's the one that buys all this stuff. Annuals, you're watering more. They're the rock stars of the growing season. They're the flowers, the hanging baskets. Those are all Firewise. There's not one annual that isn't Firewise because you're having to water them so much. If you don't water this one, if you don't water it every other day or so, it's going to collapse and die. So you have to water it. You have to keep it hydrated, which means it's going to be less likely to burn. Okay. This is Angelonica. If you have a hot spot where it's just radiant heat off a wall, they use this down in Phoenix even. It takes the heat when few things will. It's a great annual, but you'll need to keep it watered at least every couple, 2-3 days, which makes sure that you get a moisture closer to the house. I would plant this right in the patio, right at the front door, right at the borders. Use it close, because this will make your house more Firewise. Ash is not going to light. Angelica. Yeah, I'll let you look at it afterwards. This is Penta, P-E-N-T-A. Penta is a butterfly magnet. In the morning, butterflies are all over this thing. Painted ladies, monarchs, swallowtails, they all love this plant. Perennials. This is perennial. Actually, I brought a lot of perennials. This is, anyone know what this is? Phlox. Very good, tall phlox. They make a creeping phlox, which only gets about this tall, but I think this is the more durable. If you have a cottage or English garden, this is a great plant. It's a must-have. Gets pretty tall, gets up to about that tall, but you put that towards the middle, the back side of that raised bed. So plant it up, have it thick, flowers all over the place. But then, think an island. Leave some space around that so you can go enjoy it, and the firefighters can come in, and if it does finally go up, if you put this in a fire for 30 minutes, it might actually catch on fire and be fuel. But it would have to suck all the moisture out of this first before it actually flame up. Great Firewise plant. Phlox.
Does that only bloom in the spring?
Comes in the summer. Blooms right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And for
The
whole
creepy
summer?
one, 6-8 weeks, couple months, something like that. This is a plant I use in my native landscapes. The way my gardens are, I'm a gardener. I must have a space that is high water. I need a gardener. I have to go out there and with my coffee, and I will deadhead flowers, and I'll just garden. It's a small space. It's the front yard. It's magnificent. All the neighbors come by and go, oh, we love your yard. It's that. The backyard, all native. It looks good, but it looks more native. It must look good all the time. So when we have a party back there, it's got to be on stage without any care from me. And very minimal water. So I don't want to prune, I don't want to water. I go out once a year to take care of it. This is one I use back there. This is Coreopteris, or false spirea. It starts blooming now, and it continues to bloom through the summer. I like this one better than Russian sage, because I think Russian sage, the spiky blue one that's starting to bloom now, that one's kind of weedy. Comes up by seed, has runners. I don't want to work that hard. I own 4 Russian sage. They're right out on the street, and they're the miniature ones. There's a dwarf variety. It's not the big one, it's the short one. And I just make sure I go out once a month, take all the suckers, and get them back. This one, it never suckers. It does this all by itself. I do put it on a drip system. I fertilize it regularly so I get all this blue color, and it's a pollinator.
What is it again?
This is Coreopteris. Don't ask me how to spell that. Just say false spirea. So spireas are a good one too. My backyard we're bird gardeners. So we like birds, butterflies. We like magic. We don't feed them. We don't have feeders up of any kind, but our landscape, we've got water and landscapes for them, so it's thick. And so this is one, the bees, the hummingbirds, the butterflies, they love this. So again, you notice the leaves, soft and supple, and it's deciduous. It loses its leaves in the winter. It's a good Firewise plant.
I'm sorry, it looks like it might get leggy. Do you have to keep it pinched back?
I know, no. It'll get a little leggy, and then I'll just take my head shears. My goal, it's like a race, it's a competition. How fast can I prune my entire yard? Can I do it in an hour? And I'll take my 40 volt Roby hedger. It's actually sacrilege if you're a true gardener, I'm sorry. But I'm not into pruning or watering. So I'll come through and just give it a quick haircut, like the stray branches, and that's it. It takes no time. Then I clean it all up. This is a big tree. This is a chase tree, C-H-A-S-E, chase. Gets up about 10, maybe 12 feet tall, big vase-shaped like plant. I think it's a good summer blooming plant. Kind of has a lilac-looking kind of bloom, but it's hardier. No, it's not hardier. It's as hardy as lilac. They're companion plants, so when I'm designing, I would plant a lilac in that island, And I also planted a chase tree in that same island. So I've got a spring bloomer with a lilac. When it's done blooming, a month later, the chase tree starts to bloom, and it blooms the rest of the summer. And they both turn this golden fall-colored aspen gold in the fall. Then they're deciduous. So deciduous is a sure sign that you're Firewise. So watch for that. So it loses its leaves in the winter. So chase tree. I would call this also xeriscape, or drought hardy, or low water. This is a good plant for that. Okay. In fact, these two look good together. If you like blue, this is a tall thing, gets up 10 feet. This one gets up about 4 feet. So you can step that down on an island, looking at it from the back patio or the front driveway. You can actually design this multi-tiered four-season color. Okay. What else? Let's cover. Man, these things bite me. About every other month, I get bitten in some way. I back into it like this, or I brush in it. This is hedgehog. Grows wild in the rocks and stuff. It's a perennial evergreen. Now cactus are basically a big sponge. They're very Firewise. In fact, you could have the flames come right through this, and it might burn off the needles, but it's going to keep going. It won't be the flames that kill this. It'll be the flames burn off the needles, and the cactus is more exposed, and it sunburns a month and a half later. It's because it doesn't have that protective shading from the needles. Very prickly pear. Very, very Firewise. No. Every yard needs one of these. Yucca comes in red, comes in gold, comes in salmon colors. A lot of different. We do a lot of yuccas. Yuccas are Firewise. It's okay. Again, they're very high, not in resins. They're high in moisture. And so this is very slow. It'll smolder. It won't actually go up in flames. You got to think in terms of, will an ash set this off? Not the flames. It's not about the flames. It's about the ash that rolled in a mile ahead of the flames. What will that light up? And that'll be your gutters. That'll be the manzanitas. It'll light inside that pine, mugo pine. Let it grow up, and then it's got all those dead pine needles in the middle that you haven't cleaned out. It'll light in that. It'll go up just like that. Within moments, it'll go up. So those are spot fires, hundreds and hundreds of feet in front of the actual fire. So I think we misjudge how fire really works sometimes. You got to talk to a firefighter, see what they're really fighting. Okay, and then roses, lastly. Very, very Firewise. So I use a lot of roses. Roses, I don't think we grow roses enough here. This is a plant that grows better here than anywhere else in the country. If you've been scared because you didn't want your grandmother grew roses and she was a slave to her roses, and you don't want to do that, there are so many new roses out here that are self-pruning. When they bloom, they fade and set a bud all by themselves. They don't need any help from you. A lot of the new shrub series, there's a new first edition series. There's quite a few new roses out that self-prune, that bloom all season long. And because we're so dry in a higher altitude, we don't have the black spots. We get some mildew, but it's easy to control. We don't have the bugs that a lot of places have. The South they're always getting diseased. Here they don't do that. I think we grow better herbs than most places because it's so dry. I think that helps us grow better roses. But no plant blooms like that nonstop from April through November. At Thanksgiving, I still had not flowers, they were buds. As a gardener, if there's any color at all, I'm happy. So that no plant does that except the rose. So anyway, I brought that as an example. What's that?
I do get black spots.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Boy, it's so rare that we see that. Dig that thing out, come in and buy a new one.